ladies and gentlemen, my fellow people of the Southern Cameroons, Amazonians across the world, welcome to this maiden and very important edition of this slot that I christen it the soul of the Southern Cameroons. My people, every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time and at 9 p.m. Amber Time, you can tune into this channel and have a beautiful moment talking about the soul of the Southern Cameroons. On this program, we shall have the opportunity always to talk about some of the things that defined us as a people, some of the things that our forebears did to make Southern Cameroons unique, to make the polity of our land enviable, to the point where some among the British colonial agents actually just described the people of the Southern Cameroons as this nice little people. So my people of the Southern Cameroons, this program will be an opportunity for us to look at some of those wonderful moments that marked the life of our forebears. And we shall be looking at some of those things that we need to recreate, those things that we are, missing. We'll try to bring them back and then improve upon them at this age to make the Southern Cameroons a veritable place to be. And to do that on this program, I have today a gentleman. His name is Mr. Arembi Sami. Mr. Arembi Seseko. That's Seseko. Arembi Sami Besong. This is a gentleman, I think this name is known of a good lot of us. This is a gentleman who had the opportunity to be alive and in Buea at the time of the plebiscite of 1961. And within the framework of this program, he is going to be giving us a gist of exactly how those moments look like. I'm sure he was even an active participant in that plebiscite. So, Mr. Arembi Sami, or Seseko, I'll get used to it. Arembi Sami Besong, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me here this afternoon.
Yes, Mr. Arembi Sami, I'm sure people would like to know a bit more about you. Who are you?
Well, I am a retired teacher. I taught both in Cameroon and here in the US, here in Atlanta specifically. The Secretary Emeritus of the TAC, Teachers Association of Cameroon, one of the brains behind the GCA board, and a teacher for almost 32 years. Lots of those children I taught are all around the place. That's what they really know me for. From Bachontai, went through CPC Bali, Kalbambili, Furabe College, Sierra Leone, École Normale Supérieure, Yaoundé, the University of Manchester in the UK, and Southern Polytechnic State University in Atlanta. Retired.
So, Seseko Arembi Sami, you will hold your breath for a moment, and we shall begin with some of the key issues that marked this week in the Southern Cameroons, and the main of them actually is the brutal cutting off of this young girl, of this child in Buea by the talks of Mr. Paul Biya, who filled the streets of the Southern Cameroons. My people, I know that we are still very aggrieved. I know that there's still so much pain, in the minds of the people. But that is not really, what is so irksome at this point. What is really so irksome at this point is the spin that is going on the other side. if you have had the opportunity to listen to the citizens, a lot of the citizens of La République du Cameroon, and the spin that has been made about what happened in Buea, you will understand the kind of people we have been living with all these years. My people, this mother is still so aggrieved. She's still in total shock and consternation to be served the kind of things we are hearing. Just take a watch at her.
Yes, he will come. Yes, he will come. I want Nunu. I want Nunu. I want my Nunu. I want my Nunu. I want Nunu. I want Nunu. Hey, my picky. My Nunu. Nunu say one year old. I don't give a year old. They don't give. Nunu will come now. Yes, he will come.
You can feel the pains. You can see the confusion. I know that some are even worried that she may really get into a lot of mental complications. Not just post-traumatic stress disorders, but even beyond. Imagining how she moved with her baby, with her child, bubbling with life, taking her to school just for any kind of thing to happen. And in the spur of the moment, when it happened, we listened to Okalia Bilai Bernard, who is the colonial governor of that region, say that he was admitting to the fact that what happened was absolutely despicable and that the culprits were going to be punished. But surprisingly enough, we are now hearing a totally new trend. Just listen to this gentleman.
Le combat, on ne fait que les ravitaillements avec les armes. Est-ce que c'est normal ça, mes frères? Chers autorités, est-ce que c'est normal? S'il vous plaît, appliquez-moi la loi. Je vous en prie. Si vous ne le faites pas, je risquerai moi de me porter les armes pour chercher ce enfant-là. Ça, je vous le dis une vérité. Il a amnistie contre un gendarme. En plein service. À la zone rouge. À ce moment, c'est une zone rouge. On t'interpelle même tout à pied. Tu dois t'arrêter. Tu dois mettre tout à pied. Tu t'arrêtes. C'est un ordre. S'il vous plaît, mes frères, vous me dites-moi, entre nous, et de ce quoi ces camarades sont placés. On abat, mais mon Dieu, je me saigne, mais écoutez un peu là, mais on abat un gendarme en plein service devant que, je vous le dis en vérité, hein, si c'était moi ce gendarme, hormis cette petite fille que j'ai abattue. On a perdu la fille. Et le gendarme, la fille est partie, la petite fille, oui, ça fait mal, oui. Le gendarme maintenant est parti. Mais s'il vous plaît, chers populations du monde, chers autorités, si j'étais à la place de gendarme, jamais encore mon âme. Et j'ai massacré que toute la population avant de mourir. Ça, je vous le dis une vérité. Ça, c'est catastrophique. Et dans cette voiture, de ce quoi? On tourne 3 armes. 2 pistolets et une arme de guerre. Mais écoutez, s'il vous plaît. Mais attention. Est-ce que les militaires, est-ce que les gendarmes, est-ce que les policiers...
My people, I'm laughing when I'm supposed to be crying. Did you hear what this gentleman said? This is the new spin. This is the real manipulation that becomes more painful. I mean, more painful than the passing of this little girl. The Bishop of Buea, Bishop Bibi, is on record to have said this incident happened just before him. He was in the vicinity when this incident occurred. My people, the new spin is that in that car in which this baby was, this little girl was with another child, and the mother driving them to school, were weapons. Really, they were weapons. This begs for the million-dollar question. At what point were the weapons discovered in the car? Did the gendarme discover the weapons before opening fire on the car? Or the weapons were only discovered after the incident and the gendarme had been lynched, the child brutally cut off, and in all this commotion, the weapons were in that car, and they had the time to pick up this car when the population was mad all over the place, and they remained inside there for them to go see them much later. Even the statement, the confused statement by the spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense doesn't say that there was anything in the car. Governor, the colonial governor, Okalia Bilai Bernard, doesn't say anything of the sort, that there was anything in the car. This spin comes on much later when the people sit down and tell themselves, why should we admit that we did anything wrong when this noble from the Ekang Beti Bulu clan only did the right thing by hunting game? Of course, by hunting game. Remember, Okalia Bilai Bernard said, and it's on record, that we were dogs, and that everyone should hold their dog. Otherwise, if they're seen outside, they will be killed brutally. This is exactly what they are doing. And you hear this man say it is zone rouge. They declared our zone rouge, which means that anytime, anyhow, any of their Ekang Beti lords can open fire on anybody and go with it. Our people of the southern Cameroons are a peace-loving set of people. One of the spins, they even claimed that the father of the child was the one on the steering wheel, and the wife was seated on the passenger side and the children behind, and that he was the one driving. But then when this thing happened, and he knew that they would discover him, he ran away. And they even claim that when the truth finally came out and they discovered the weapons in the car, he ran away, and that he has disappeared into thin air. My people, this little child's father is based in the state of Maryland, in the United States of America. He was not in Cameroon, for crying out loud. He was not in southern Cameroon. He was not in Buea on this October 14, when his child was cut off life. And to imagine that this is insult being thrown on injury, upon the pains of losing his child, he has to start hearing this kind of horrible manipulations. The people of the southern Cameroons are a peace-loving people. That is why even the British colonial administration referred to our people as these nice people. These nice people were people full of virtues. We never knew how to carry even the cane to touch anyone until our backs have been pulled to the wall and we're forced to be defending ourselves. My people of the southern Cameroons. And you didn't just hear all. You listened to him again say, the law must be applied. And that if the law is not applied, what will he do? He will descend on southern Cameroonians. Listen, when he says the law must be applied, you definitely understand the next pin. Arrest this woman whom you see there in serious grief. Arrest her just like they did with the Mother Francisca International Bilingual School in Kumba. That they got into the school, cut children's life off very brutally, and the next minute they arrested her and the husband and detained them. Because as animals that they consider we are, as dogs that they consider we are, we shouldn't even be around places where we obstruct them from passing. For that reason, when they destroy you, you need to pay them. You need to be punished for having been there in the first place, on our land. My people, remember what Prime Minister of La République du Cameroun, John Ngute, said in Bamenda. The Prime Minister was clear. He told our people that in other parts of La République du Cameroun, we will soon be in danger. And I repeated here that the veiled message was clear. Begin leaving those places where you are, my dear people of the southern Cameroons. Because what they are planning for you is unimaginable. I didn't want to let him go to the end of what he was saying, this gentleman. He spoke horrible. The language was so despicable for a program like this one, for my platform. My people, we have to be alert because what is being prepared for us? They had used the presence of a lot of our people on their territory as evidence to tell the rest of the world, these people are slaves, they are our slaves, and they are happy to be our slaves. Today, they are tired that some among these slaves are asking to be considered human beings and want to assert their humanity. And so for that reason, those people still loitering on their territory are in danger, in huge danger. If you're doubting it, you will hear more. Why he spins this and says, if he had the possibility, if he were the gendarme, he would have crushed many more. Why? Because they're not humans. Now, listen to this other lady. This will edify us. This will help those who are still moving around and nursing some thoughts that these people of La République du Cameroun are humans, that they will ever consider us as human beings, that they have a conscience ever to look at us as human beings capable of forging any form of union with them or having any links with them. You need to have a rethink. Just listen again to this one.
Yes, vous êtes les qui? Vous êtes même les qui, même vous là. Si tu vois même les gens, ils sont tous crasseux. Quand tu les vois même crasseux comme tout. Le vrai Camerounais, quand tu le regardes, il est propre, il sent bon. Les talibans là, quand tu les regardes, ils sont tous crasseux. Quand tu regardes l'homme, que tu as l'envie de regarder l'homme. Ils sont toujours là en train de cogner les têtes des gens parce qu'ils ont raté leur vie. Envoie les têtes de moi, je m'en fous de vous. Je m'en fiche. Trop, c'est trop. Vous exagérez. Celui qui est décédé là a une famille. Celui qui est décédé là a une famille. Vous pensez que sa mère est contente aujourd'hui? Sa mère est en train de regretter que qu'est-ce que son fils est parti faire dans l'armée? Je suis sûre. Je suis sûre qu'aucun parent au Cameroun, si on lui dit que ton enfant a réussi le concours de l'armée, je suis sûre que c'est un parent qui va commencer à avoir un pied dedans, un pied dehors. Ce parent-là va se dire du jour au lendemain, je peux perdre mon enfant. Ce sont aussi les enfants des gens. Le policier il n'est pas né policier. Le gendarme n'est pas né gendarme. Le militaire n'est pas né militaire. Arrêtez ça. Arrêtez ça. Vous exagérez, bande de crasseux. Vous exagérez. La seule chance que vous avez, c'est que le père qui est au pouvoir là, il les embêtit. Vous ne connaissez pas les gens. Le père les calme. Et il a dit à sa population que Habak, je ne veux même pas attendre pas. Parce que si c'est pour ça, c'est vous qui habitez chez les gens. Vous êtes nomades. À l'école, on disait même que les nomades sont les qui? Vous êtes nomades. Vous payez les impôts au Cameroun. Vous qui avez les magasins là, les riches là, vous payez les impôts au Cameroun.
Well, for those who do not understand French, this is what she's saying. She says, vous. Vous that she says that refers to Southern Cameroonians, those she calls les anglophones. Regardez comment ils sont crasseux. That's a kind of insult I won't even translate. And she says, if you look at a normal Cameroonian, they are handsome, soft, good to see. Not people like us. Listen, this is something some people have refused to hear, have refused to recognize. Some of them hear and they absolutely understand, but refuse to believe them. Refuse to take into consideration. Refuse to know where they are coming from. Regardez comment ils sont crasseux. She doesn't end there. She says, us, the people of the Southern Cameroons, we are the ones moving to go and live in other people's lands. And we are nomads. Nomads. And she says in school, they used to describe nomadic people like, and she even goes beyond, she goes further to say, it is Mr. Paul Biya holding them. Because if he were not holding them, they will unleash. And so take note that the unleashing moment is exactly what Chief John Gute, was warning our people vaguely in Bamenda that it is coming, it is close. My people, it is coming, it is close. If you are living in the hinterlands of La République du Cameroon, please begin leaving all those hinterlands, because you are no longer safe, my people. You are no longer safe. I'm saying this and I repeat it. There are other clips that I've refused to bring on this program on account of the nature of the language being used. And all of this because they are having remorse. Remorse for the gendarme and not for the baby whose life was brutally cut off by the gendarme. No. That doesn't mean anything. We're in a red zone. We're game. We're dogs. We're animals. We're game. And this poor gendarme was just hunting. He was just hunting game. And why should people blame him, chastise him for hunting game? This is exactly what we are being told. My people of the Southern Cameroons, I repeat it, we are a peace-loving people. Please, it is time to go home. Wherever you are on the territory of La République du Cameroon, begin considering getting yourself and your family back to the Southern Cameroons. We have said this over and over and over, that we knew Mr. Paul Biya's endgame. Don't forget, and don't ever forget this, that when France had to leave Guinea, Sékou Touré's Guinea, they brought down everything. I mean everything. Completely. They even literally dug down buildings and everything. They scattered everything. And this is what La République du Cameroon has promised us. We don't care about them scattering everything. Let them leave, because what is even there is so disorderly. We will plant our land. But what we want is simply for them to leave our land. But for those of you, for those of us Southern Cameroonians, who are in the hinterlands of La République du Cameroon, who have been considered so many times as Mongbamenda, it is time to leave. Leave before it gets too late. It is time to go back home. Be with your people. If anything is happening to you, let it happen to you among your people. My people of the Southern Cameroons. Chief John Gute couldn't hold it, because they've held meetings upon meetings to talk about these things and to plan them, and they have a timing. He can tell you straight. He can only use every other means at his disposal to put in a veiled manner that those of us who have the opportunity to interpret and explain should do so. It is time to leave. It is time to leave. Listen. She says we are crasser. Crasser. That's what she says. She says we don't look like Cameroonians. Of course, we are not Cameroonians. She says when you see a real Cameroonian, she describes. And then she believes that we have made in such a way that their force is no longer attractive. Gendarme, soldier, police, no longer attractive. Families fear to send their children into it again because of us. This woman is not concerned about this innocent baby. No. So my people, that is why in an audio message, I told the people of Buea, be careful. The videos that circulated with people protesting, and especially those who were around the area where this gendarme met his doom, be careful. That is why I say, get them out of our neighborhoods. Let them leave our neighborhoods. They have barracks. Let them get to their barracks. Let them leave our neighborhoods. Don't keep them in your neighborhoods. And my people, don't lock yourselves down. Be on the alert. We have to bunch together. In case you hear of anything at any person's residence, everybody must come out. If we don't stand for one another, we will soon find a lot of our people again being us to run away to where we have been running for over 60 years. We must be tired by now of running, my people. Listen, the cries and the wailings of these mothers in Buea means nothing to the people of La République du Cameroon. What matters to them is that they're in a red zone with orders to hunt game that we are. Look at these mothers. This cry will not take us anywhere. We need to do what we need to do. It's quite painful. It's quite painful. Mr. Arembi, I know that you definitely are also overwhelmed with hearing what you are hearing these people say and with seeing what happened in Buea. I guess you want to say something at this point.
Well, John, those two speakers, they've just broken ribs. I really don't know what to say. It is horrible for people to say this type of thing when somebody provokes a situation such as the one we saw in Buea 2 days ago. It's really horrible. It's disheartening. I feel for that mother and the grandmother who couldn't just help it. She threw away everything and stood naked in front of the world to see her grief. Honestly, I lost a child. I know how she's feeling. Mine was 42 years old when she died. But this one, small, beautiful, looking very sharp and intelligent, just to be cut off like that in a split second. No. John, no. I don't know. It just continues. Every day we're having the same sort of thing. Every day. I remember sometime in August 1972, when the first Anglophone was shot in Crystal Gardens. His name was Lawrence Battle, my cousin, by a gendarme over a girl. That was the first Anglophone I can remember who was shot just like that in Crystal Gardens. And nobody knew what happened to that gendarme to this day. And there are many other cases. Many, I don't know. I don't know when all this will stop.
Seseko, do you think these people actually consider that we're human beings?
How will somebody who treats you like that consider you a human being? They don't. Whether you call him who, Belai who, he call us cockroaches and ducks. It's terrible, honestly. Saddening. Terrible.
And while all this is going on, we actually hear, you know, some of their ministers tell us that whatever is going on in the southern Cameroons, I mean, it's not their cup of tea. Just listen to Jean de Dieu Momo.
Les gars du Nord-Ouest, Sud-Ouest ont pris des armes. Est-ce que ça m'empêche, moi, de boire mon vin de palmier ici? Moi. Est-ce que ça. Franchement, parce que quand.
Yes, Jean de Dieu Momo says, whatever is going on in Bamenda is not his cup of tea. Whatever is going on in Buea is not his cup of tea. Whatever
he's
is
a
happening
clown.
in the southern zone is not his cup of tea. At least he can drink and enjoy himself. Because they don't, my people. These people don't recognize us as being part of their country. From 1984, and on January 1, when Mr. Paul Biya signed what is called the Restoration Law, where he signed a decree seceding La République du Cameroun, restoring the Republic of Cameroon that existed in 1960 to the state, I mean, they immediately turned us into a colonial entity and therefore considered us as subhumans. That is why whatever happens to us does not engage them. It doesn't mean anything to them. We have been taking them for granted. But listen, Maya Angelou says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. She says, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. We have taken them for granted for too long. We have refused to believe them for so long. When Okaila Bilai said in 2017 that we were dogs, we refused to believe him. When Jacques Zay said on Vision Card that we were cockroaches and roaches that needed, some disinfectants to be used on us, we refused to believe him. We have heard Ernest Obama say horrible things. We refuse to believe him. Eric Matthias Onangini is saying every day we are not humans capable enough or good enough to be, considered as pairing partners to sit around a table to have any effective dialogue with. We continue living in denial. My people, it is time we open our ears. We open our minds. Let us allow our brains to work. We should believe them because they mean everything that they are saying. They mean everything that they are saying. And I really want to pay particular homage to our brave people of the Southern Cameroons, those on ground zero, to the voices in the bushes, to the women, our mothers, our sisters, everyone, to the traders, the bike riders, and all those doing things here and there to make sure they protect our territory. Because, as you heard them wail, they are wailing today because we are making them understand that we will either have our freedom or will resist forever. You have this copy of the Guardian Post here. I'm not interested in what they write there, Hore in Buea. Look down at the caption in green, where I'm turning on. This is in Marwa. They say a biker detained for allegedly aiding a soldier to desert army. This is what is happening all over the territory. They are running helter-skelter. They are running. They are deserting in huge numbers because, my people, they have recognized that we are not pushovers. They are recognizing that we will no longer allow them to trample upon us the way they want. I took this first half of the program, of the slot, for us to have a discussion around this incident in Buea, because we'll always do that. At least we'll begin with the things that happened, the main thing that marked the week, so that we all get up to speed and then we move into the VIF, into the main part of the program, where we will be talking about the soul of the Southern Cameroons. Just don't go away. My people, we now talk the soul of the southern Cameroons, and let's go up initio. This is the map of southern Cameroons. In my last broadcast, I promised that we were going to look at the southern Cameroons as it were, Rambazonia as it were. Listen, my people, today they are trying to make us believe that we are northwest, southwest. That never existed in southern Cameroons. It is when, unfortunately, in 1961, we joined these people because we were forced to, that they decided to segment us into northwest and southwest for the purposes of divide and rule. If you look at this map carefully, you see the divisions that we had. We had Bamenda division, as you can see here. And Bamenda division involved a very huge expanse going from Mezam, getting right through Ngokotunjia, the area called today Ngokotunjia, Buea, Boyo, including even what is today Donga Mantung. Of course, you can see Ndu right up here. You can see Ndu right up here. You can see Kishong, Kumbo. This is under Bamenda. And Bamenda included even Menchum and Momo. That was the Bamenda division. From there, you have the Manfe division. You can see here Manfe, Bisongabang. And then from there, you have the Kumba division. In Kumba division, you have the Kome, what do you call it? The Kome Balue, Nyasoso, Bombe, all of Kupeng, Wanenguba, Ndian, and all of those all belonged to the Kumba division. And then from there, you have the Victoria division. The Victoria division has as capital Victoria. Of course, Buea was not a division because Buea was a seat of the country. And that is why you notice that even on to this day, Buea is not, a county, headquarters. The headquarters of Fako County is Victoria. So we did not have any such thing. We did not have any such thing as Northwest and South and Southwest. That is the creation of Mr. Amadou Ahidjo and the French, who joined him to see how to, divide us very seriously, because right from the point go, they already had it in mind. They were already conscious of what they were planning to do. They knew that they were going to go gradually assimilate us, destroy our identity, and make sure we end up as slaves in La République du Cameroun. And so we will go back to where it all started. And Mr. Seseko Arembi, you were alive in 1961. I know it's possible you might have participated in the plebiscite of February 11. I'd like to know from you, what was the atmosphere at the time?
Well, 1961, I had just gone to CPC Bali. And I remember during the plebiscite, they needed some people to come assist in some of the polling stations. I'd actually gone back to Manfe, and I was appointed assistant polling officer in the government school Manfe area. The voting was peaceful, no problem. Even before we left the polling station, we knew who had won. And in less than a week or so, the results were out. Everything was peaceful, even though there were some people who were agitating that they didn't need that plebiscite. It was just a scam at the time. We went to these people peacefully. They forced us. Now they've taken advantage of that and see where we are. These are some of the things, when you think about them, you begin to wonder whether there is really a God that should be taken care of. his people. Up to this moment, it looks to me as though we have been neglected completely. Is it by God, by the international community? I really don't know. We're in the ocean swimming. When shall we
Seseko,
arise?
at the time, were you excited about
Yeah,
what was happening, or were you filled with anxiety, like some who say that they were confused because they really didn't know what was lying right ahead?
John, you see, coming from Manfi at the time, Manfi was a hub where Muslims were. I grew up seeing the way those Igbo women treated our women in the market. So having this change to go to to East Cameroon and meet our brothers, some of us received it with mixed feelings. But we thought it was perhaps a better option than allowing the Igbos to keep molesting our mothers in the market. Hardly did we know we were living one horrible situation to another.
When you look at our society today, or when you look at the kind of life that our people are living today, would you say that we are much better today than we were prior to
No, John,
1961?
not at all. Not at all.
What
In
is missing?
1961, look at the police. We had two types of police. We have the regular police and the mobile wing, and there was the other grade of policemen we call special police. The policeman never moved around with a gun. He had his baton, and with that, he was able to control the people. He was a very friendly person, the policeman. We trusted in him. But it's a different thing now. You see? No. As a kid, we loved seeing those policemen with their shining shoes, glittering buttons on their shirts, with their potties round their boots. They look smart, friendly. This is not what we see these days with this rack-tack. No. We had
Today,
a better life.
we find out, Seseko, that the way we, kind of do politics, if you are not in agreement with someone, it's as if that person is your enemy. I know in the southern Cameroons at the time, we're already practicing a pluralist kind of democracy. How were the people from opposing political parties carrying themselves around when those who voted rather to join Nigeria noticed that they had lost to those who voted to join the Republic of Cameroon?
I
How did they
remember,
react? Was there
I
violence?
remember, I remember attending some of those campaigns, the KNC and KNDP. The guys moved in the same van and they mounted the same soapbox. You understand? And yes, they were real gentlemen. We may say they were not educated, but they were gentlemen. I remember when Ndeli found that he was losing. He had he was on the soapbox one day in Manfe. He said, "Well, there's no Manfe woman who has given birth to a handsome young man like him. If the Manfe people don't vote him, the Stones will vote for him." People just clapped. They didn't take it at heart. We know it was just a joke. But those things these days, Fonja, Endeli, Muna, Effium, Egbetabi, they all move around together. They did. Now politics has become something else. Mhm.
Judging from what you are saying, I understand that. I mean, it should have been really interesting to be part of the political game in the southern Cameroons. Then, what will you say to all of those who are involved in our struggle for the liberation of the southern Cameroons, where we have some kind of enmity sometimes because we belong to groups, with respect to the kind of life that you experience in the southern Cameroons of old?
You see, John, I always look at this thing this way. Politics has become a way of life where people want to line their pockets. And this is a culture we have inherited from these people. We have imbibed from them. Not inherited, really. We have imbibed from them. You have this terrible desire to be rich. And politics is the only way out to some people. You know, you just see what is happening. And let me tell you a story. In 1968, I was preparing to go to Furabe College. Then I went to Royal Exchange to exchange money. Royal Exchange was just close to the treasury time. And then there was this man, a banking man, Mr. Tabe was his name. He was then the treasurer. He had just been audited and found to have been short of 500,000. And who audited him? Agboro, his own tribesman. And they gave him 24 hours to bring back that money or be arrested. Then I heard him, the man was shouting, Mangua, Mangua, mother, I'm dead. Mommy, I'm dead. Because of 500,000 that he was short of. I mean, 500,000. Well, you may say that in 1968, that was a lot of money. But he was sanctioned there and there. Produce this money in 24 hours or you go to jail.
That was serious, you know.
Yes. But see what is happening. People are embezzling billions and they put them in jail. While in jail, they have their senior service quarters where they enjoy this money in jail. But in 1968, somebody was short of 500,000 and they told him, bring it back or you go to jail. That is the world we find ourselves in right now. Everybody wants to be rich.
Yes, if you really have to say, certain things that you regret about, I mean, with respect to our having to leave the southern Cameroons, our way of life, to join the people of La République du Cameroon for all the 60 years. What are some of those moments, some of those key things in our society that you're missing today?
Our, our educational life, so to speak. I know. I went through Bali College. The discipline we had is still in me to this day. But after 1972, things just started going down, down, down. the camaraderie that we had in school. Let me tell you, most of my friends, I come from the Southwest, but most of my friends are those friends I met in Bali. Among my people, they call me a graphic man. You can even see them dress this afternoon. We did not have, John, we did not have this thing of, oh, this one comes from this area and not from this area. I remember during holidays, I used to take some friends to Bachua, to Mafe town. I will spend the holidays together. During some short breaks, I used to spend holidays with some friends in Bali. We lived as one people. But these guys and just change the dynamics. Now here of Southwest and Northwest, Gravi, Bakweri, Banyangi. Even the Bakweri man now doesn't want to say Banyangi man. It wasn't like that. No, it wasn't like that. Now is.
Do you react to this statement by Ufi Chinje? I'm sure you did listen to her, who said, John Gute said the people of the southern zone, what they call Northwest, and those of the northern zone, whom they call Southwest, can never ever live together. What's your reaction to that kind of statement?
That is not true. That is in CPC Bali. I never knew who was a Southwest or who was a Northwesterner. We were friends, and we lived like that, even after school. I mean, after leaving school. You know, to this day, some of my best friends are those friends I made in CPC. They are not from the Southwest. And there are lots of Northwesterners who have a lot of Southwesterners as friends. Some even look at themselves as brothers. It is this politics that has just come and destroyed that fabric of our society. What can they say we cannot live together? Who said? They, the politicians?
I can feel you. You
It's
know,
sad.
the people in Buea came out en masse
Yes, yesterday.
on October 14. That's just 2 days ago,
It shocked
to
them.
decry what happened to this little baby. They didn't care to know whether she was from the northern zone or from the southern zone. But as nature will have it, this is a typical southern Cameroons family, Seseko. The mother of this child hails from Buea County. Buea County in the northern zone, in the grass field. The father of the child hails from Kupengwanenguba. That's the Kupengwanenguba County of the southern zone. You find here that this is all of southern Cameroons put together. And I think the reaction of the people of the city, of the great city of Buea, was so spontaneous. Spontaneous
Spontaneous.
because the people didn't care to know whether the child came from where or from where. Simply because it dawned on them that this is how the citizens of La République du Cameroun, or the government of La République du Cameroun, now sees us. This is how they now see us, as game. And the next minute, they say, we cannot tie in anything together because we are Northwest and we are Southwest. I'd like to take you back to some other aspect. Perhaps we'll leave this still regarding the Southern Cameroons. You definitely listened to the young lady there who described us. I don't want to use the words she really used. It's English version where she said crasseux. She describes us as dirty. That when they see a real Cameroonian, he or she is soft, clean, nice looking, but we are what she says crasseux. And this simply reminds me of the sanitary department in the southern Cameroons of old. You leave that moment. Can you give us a little gist, Seseko?
Yes. We had the sanitary officers who made sure your environment was kept clean. The toilets, your immediate environment was always clean. If you did not keep it clean, you were taken to the native court and fined. So this idea of keep places clean, keep Manfi clean, keep Kumba clean started a long time ago. But these people over there, they are filthy. Go to Yaoundé and look at the rubbish dump you find around the place. We never had that type of nonsense. Never. Never. I also remember there was one Mavi called, what's his name again? He was always every weekend or so. You say, listen to this one. All good pick sip. We start catch them on Mondays. We have had permission from Regos. You know what he's saying? All goats, sheep, and pigs around should be confined. And I remember the sanitary inspector and the laborers who go around arresting goats or pigs and taking them to the offices. Sometimes they are sold to the public. We never had such things just roaming around carelessly. No. Especially in the towns. Manfi in particular, where I grew up.
Was it possible to bribe our sanitary inspectors of old?
No. You will not do that. Because he himself feels that he's being watched by another sanitary inspector. You won't do that. Never. 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 And I have in mind my good friend, Mr. Ogok. The father was a sanitary inspector. How will you even start to bribe him? How? Looking always neat, tall, respectful. When you see him and you are not in order, you toe your line. Bribe? No. You will not do that.
How do you think we can bring back those values in our community? Is it possible to bring them back today? What were the kind of enforcement mechanisms that were in place to get the people respect, the regulations and even resist bribe?
We have been so contaminated with this culture from the other side. It will be hard not to crack John. But with resolve and determination, we can do it. That is if these people all just leave us alone. You know?
There's a beating to that in Ebola.
Yeah.
Wow. Seseko,
it will not be very
I was talking
easy,
on this program.
but it can be done.
I was saying here just a while ago, and I'm sure you go back to the clip that I played here at the start with some of these people from La République du Cameroun swearing that if Mr. Paul Biya was not holding them, they would teach us a lesson. I'm just receiving information on this broadcast as we're talking now that a southern Cameroon's refugee by name Kibu Divine, who was working in Ebolova in La République du Cameroun, has just been beaten to death.
Oh boy.
He has just been beaten to death. Yeah, after the master from whom he was working, after he demanded his salary. He asked for his salary to be increased. He asked for his salary raise. And the response is that he has been beaten to death. And the specific area, the specific location where this incident took place is called Ngoazip. Ngoazip is in the south. So he was working in a Bolova. And this is something I was just talking about a while ago. I was saying Chief Ephraim Enoni, when he was in Bamenda, made a clear reference to our people, to the fact that we have to begin leaving all of those places because the days ahead would not be interesting.
You mean
You're just
Diongute?
hearing this, Seseko. What is your reaction?
That's just the beginning. It's the beginning. You mean Diongute, right? Not the Noni.
Yes, I'm talking about John Gute.
Yes.
Yes, not Enoni.
He said not in France.
You know, they were all chiefs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is the beginning. I fear it is the beginning.
What will you recommend? What is your message to the people of the southern Cameroon scattered all over
If
the
I have
territory
a
of La
brother,
République du Cameroon at this
if I
point
have
in
a
time?
brother or any relative, you rather better come home before the Pandora's released and the bees all come out.
This is a very painful moment. Very
Yes.
painful. And especially so because we have seen a lot of the activists, the other actors from La République du Cameroon, really scream loud and clear that they are more concerned about the life of the gendarme who voluntarily decided to cut off the life of this little girl. Seseko, we are joined on this platform now. We are joined in the studio here right now by Comrade Adjoa Alemanji. Adjoa Alemanji is a Southern Cameroonian, an Amazonian. He's based in Delaware, in the United States of America. So, Alem, you're welcome.
Thank you, Comrade John Bakuro, for having me on your program. Thank you so much. Sorry I chimed in a little bit late, but a lot of things, a lot of moving parts that are going on today. So, especially in lieu of what's happened in our beloved country, a lot of activities, a lot of saddened people, a lot of emotional people, and a lot of people asking a lot of questions for that matter. So it's really a very busy weekend for all of us, understandably so. But we said no, we have to still squeeze some time to come on to this pioneer program of yours. So thank you. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for having Team Umojami.
Yes, sir, you are not very audible. You just heard this piece of information I was bringing in as you were joining us about this Amazonian who has been beaten to death in a Bolova. What is your first reaction?
Oh my goodness! To be honest with you, I was not again. Like I said, we were doing a lot of moving parts, a lot of things happening here with regards to the killing of the baby kid a few days ago, and so I didn't was not even aware of this uh, Southern Cameroonian who was beaten to death. I hope this was not a retaliation to what's happened because, again, the people need to be aware of this that the issue is not with francophones or with French-speaking Cameroon. The issue is with that system, the system of governance, which is what we are saying no to. I didn't hear about this. What time did this happen, if I may ask?
I suppose that you did not have the opportunity to listen to some of the citizens of La République du Cameroon speak. Perhaps if you do, you may not hold the same opinion you hold right now. Perhaps for those who are just joining us on this program, just take a listen to this young lady.
Nous sommes en France, tu payes tout. Vous payez les impôts. Si on commence à vous taxer avec toutes les boutiques, toute la richesse, les trucs que vous avez, vous payez.
While waiting for the technical department to ensure that we get the right cut, I'll get back to you, Siseko, Irene B. We were talking about the Southern Cameroons community of old. You notice that besides losing our property as people who respected wonderful sanitary conditions and had a very clean environment, even respect for seniority is disappearing. What will you say to this?
Yes, of course. It is. When we grew up, or rather when we were growing up, you knew who was your senior. And you will not just speak rudely or carelessly when they're around. I keep going back to my own experience. I was already in the university in 1901. I would not bring a girl to the house if my father is around. Never. But these days, it's just it's just common.
Good example.
That's how serious it was at that time. You even go to the villages now, you see the way the young men talk to their elders. The bad manners that they have imported from across the moon. That's the way I look at it. The fabric of our society has disintegrated in such a way that
You can hear me.
I don't know, as I said earlier,
Okay.
whether it would be very easy to patch the whole thing back. More especially as our own generation is evaporating now in huge numbers. What do you have to copy?
I know that today you get to places and you see an old man or an old woman, right on our territory, fighting with young people for positions on the line, for services,
Oh yes,
or to have a
yes.
seat in an office. Something is that something that was even thinkable in the Southern Cameroons on old?
No. For instance, go to the post office. You stand on the line and wait for your turn. I don't know whether they still do that now. Because you just be standing on the line and you see some young man get in front of you. He wants to be served. We never used to have that type of nonsense.
We will go over to Delaware. Comrade Alem, you are a technology lead. You are, a sound engineer, and I know you wear several caps when it comes to the world of invention. Today, we are saying that it's possible that in the days ahead or in the weeks ahead, La République du Cameroon does what they had done before. Try to interrupt communication on social media. And, like we went without internet for well over 90 days in 2017. So I know that there are a lot of Southern Cameroonians already thinking so hard about alternatives if we find ourselves in that kind of situation. What do you have to offer today, Comrade Alem?
So pretty much at Team Umojami, we have taken this matter, very, very seriously. As a matter of fact, the whole idea of lack of internet is something that we predicted was going to happen at some point in time, which is a matter of time before that was to go the way it did. And so we developed a tool that actually allows us to be able to interact. It was, of course, a tool that was built, really with Africans in mind, because the issues that we face in Southern Cameroons are not really just limited to Southern Cameroons. If you go through the entire African community, you have similar stuff. You have dictatorial governments, you have suppressive governments, and you have people who are yearning for freedom all over. So we figured that we would try to develop a tool that can be able to help in that particular regards. Umojami is not just that; it's actually a creator's tool. That's where the birth of it actually came about. With the notion that if you look across Africa, a lot of people, a lot of things get created or invented, right? And without any recognition, either from the community or from those governments. Now, those of you living in the Western world, you know that when somebody when the system spots talent or spots somebody who is creative, that is immediately promoted. Okay, you have people here who are on scholarship, for example, full scholarship, just because they play football, what is called soccer, right? But back in southern Cameroon, or the Cameroons in general, or most of Africa, such talents is something which people, you remember, like I just saw this the senior who said you can't bring a girl to the house. It was sometimes a taboo to tell your parents that you play football, okay, or you play guitar. Your mom will tell you that one day. uh, you know, uh, so we created this platform, Umojami, to be able to showcase talents of young African lads. That was the original idea. And then when this issue happened in Southern Cameroon, we said let's take it a step further. How about having a platform which is right, which is something that is made by Southern Cameroon but available to all of Africa, for example, where you can actually be able to create and be rewarded for creativity. So if I just take you there real quick to Umojami, www.umojami.com, just to give you a synopsis of what it looks like. Okay, so think of Umojami like a combination of Facebook, a combination of YouTube, a combination of TikTok, right? On all of those social media platforms, all in one, allows you to go in. You will create, of course, you register. You have your friends that follow you as well. You have your live feeds. You even have a marketplace where you can actually sell. And we designed the marketplace initially for our refugees because it's one thing to have people in ground one or in other countries who are struggling, and each time we send $100 here, $200 here, or 50. But how do we sustain those people? After a while, your financial fatigue sets in. And so when we designed Umujami, the idea was to be able to have a scenario or have a marketplace where somebody in, let's say, Cross River State in Nigeria, who is a refugee who left Southern Cameroon, can be able to go into the the knitting and sewing and whatever she can produce or he can produce. You have people back there who are experts at fixing, let's say, tires and that kind of stuff. They can be rewarded for that stuff. People are sewing slippers. People are sewing handbags. They can now come to the Umojami site and they can actually sell these things and make a living, right? So that way they're independent. These people are actually able to grow. They're able to go to the next level, right? So again, it goes back to the idea of, are you going to give somebody fish day in, day out, or are you going to teach them how to fish? And at Umujami, we believe in the latter, teaching them how to fish. But you also want to provide the tools for that to happen. The other area where Umujami has its strength also is in Umuziki. There's so many different things or different parts of Umujami I don't want to go into right now. But again, you can actually go into Umuziki. This is where we have our artists. A lot of young talent back at home, people that are playing music, people that are creating music back in Africa. What do they do? Today, you go on and you go to different sites, you sell what you have, and that's it. Then you have the copyright issues. Everybody is copywriting, everybody is downloading from YouTube. At Umuziki, we give you the capability to be able to come and to be able to create your music. Okay, we just did one right now for Mama Elizabeth Teke, who's on there, and you can see that people are buying like crazy. A lot of people have bought the music from her production, and you can buy the different individual tracks or you can buy the entire album. It's up to you. Okay, so this is the record of life. I think is the album that she just did. We worked very in great depth with her to be able to release this on our platform. So young talented Southern Cameroonians who have the capability of being able.
Comrade Alem, let me interrupt you
Yeah,
there briefly. You will come back to all this explanation. I just want to find out from you, first of all, about how many people are already connected to this beautiful platform?
Okay, so far right now we have about 80,000 strong and climbing, right? And this has been as a result of some serious work. Special thanks to folks like Adiola from Nigeria, who also spoke very, very heavily about the platform. And so when we reach out to these people and they talk about it in the communities, a lot of people, for example, in Nigeria, just heard about it and joined in. Special thanks to Minimefo also as well, who was another very, very instrumental, especially when it came to Mama Teke's project, and she was able to talk about it. And then you had a lot of Cameroonians who also joined in as well. We're working now with another lady out of Ghana, two people actually out of Ghana. So we're looking at different areas in Africa where there are prominent people who are very, very vocal when it comes to social media platforms. And once they introduce it, you see that a lot of people within that particular community actually join in. Now, as to the Southern Cameroon community, Comrade Jumba Akuru, you and I know that our people, they say sometimes the prophet has much more difficulty working at home. So we're still working on that. We're still working and trying to plug into that. And again, this is a platform which was built with Africans in mind. It's something that's planned and run by Southern Cameroonians, but it's a gift, right, to the people, right? You don't hold a candlelight and burn it under your pillow. It's going to burn you up as well. You let it shine for the world to see. And I think that's our motto.
I saw in one of the write-ups that with Umojami you can still communicate even if you don't have internet connection. Is that true? And how
That's
possible is
correct.
that?
Yes. So we it runs on, and I'll let in the further broadcast, I'll let my technical team actually come on and talk more about it in detail. But it runs on a complex system with VPN and some other algorithms that we use. It's an app, right? So if you go to the Google Play Store, if you have an Android phone, you can download Umojami onto your phone. If you're an Apple guy, you can go to the Apple Play Store. You can also download, there we go, right there. Download it also onto your phone. So a lot of people out there, especially for our voices in the bushes, right? They can actually have that and be in an environment where they don't have internet and still be able to have some degree of communication. Also, we're looking very, very deeply into being able to also have education platform on this, because people right now are out of school for a couple of years, and so we're hoping that we can work with other groups within the Southern Cameroon struggle to see how we can further or we can push education and have it go virtual. You see that in the United States and other developed nations, they were able to go 1 year with virtual education. It may not be 100% as effective as actually coming to a classroom and sitting there face to face, but it's better than nothing, right? And so we're trying to offer that same analogy. We're trying to offer that same degree of education for our people as well too. We live in all these developed countries. We sustain their technology. We learn the technology, and then we keep it to ourselves. That's not right. We should be able to give back, right? So if we had thought about this a while ago and we were up and running, I mean, we're talking about having our own syllables and having our own educational programs all on your phone. So that way, instead of just being at home not doing anything, you're actually doing something, right? So that's something that, again, we can give these ideas as much as we want, but we definitely need the collaboration of all Southern Cameroonians to be able to execute it and to be able to make it into a reality. I think it's time for us to stop just talking the talk, but also we should start walking the walk, right? We tell people, for example, stay at home, but we don't give them the tools and the stuff to stay at home and deal with. You sit back at home or you're in the diaspora and you tell somebody in Southern Cameroon, lockdown for 8 weeks or 2 weeks. Okay, when you do that lockdown, what happens? Those of you in the diaspora, for example, just the mere fact that we had COVID and we had to stay at home for like 2 or 3 weeks, you imagine how uncomfortable that was, right? And you're doing that with just sunshine and rain outside. Imagine the folks back in Southern Cameroon who are doing that, not with sunshine, but with bullets falling on the rooftop. When you start to put yourself in that perspective, you begin to realize that sometimes we need to be a little bit more thoughtful in what we do, and we need to be more creative, right? You look at the US government, for example, dishing out checks for businesses, even though they say don't do that, but they're giving you a check here to help you some way to sustain yourself. If you claim to be a government or you claim to be whatever body you are over people, and you're giving all these commands. What are you doing about the people? How are you helping the people to get out of that particular scenario? That's what the government does, or rather, that's what the government should do.
Yes, Comrade Alem, you definitely talk about Umojami just before the end of this program. We have 9 minutes to go. But before we go, I'd like all of us to take a look at this picture. I'll begin with you, Seseko Arembi. What does this picture inspire in you?
When I deal with you, so that when you go next time, you more open with
I never knew we were going to stay where we are for this long.
You were a bit cut off on
This
sound.
picture, yeah,
Seseko, if you can hear
it,
me, you were a bit, I think we had some sound issues with you right there. So I'd like to take
okay.
back my question to you. You look at this picture, I mean, when Foncha Muna finally said yes to separation and independence for Southern Cameroons, I suppose you know exactly where they are standing on this picture.
That
What
is
does
at
it
the
inspire
Mongo
in you?
Bridge. The Mongo Bridge. When I saw it, my conclusion was that we were gone. That was the sort of inspiration it gave me. Hardly did I know that we're going to stay where we are now till this moment. This picture and that flag gave some of us a lot of hope. But we are still marking time.
Comrade Allen, you are of the much younger generation. What does this picture inspire in you?
You see, this. Let me see. If I were to, take a
Oh,
deeper
wait a
look at
minute.
it.
You want to see it again? Here we go.
Yes. So when you look at this picture, right? The one thing I do see, and it's funny because when I talk to my parents and my older uncles, there's an aspect. I think that the senior on the program will actually be able to. You can probably live through these days, right? The days when you can oppose in ideas, you can oppose your cousin, your friend, even political party, but at the same time, you still remember that it's a brotherhood. I look at this picture and I see JN Foncha, I see and Mona, I see people who, despite the fact that they had different political values, they were still, the brotherhood was first, right? You see them standing together now, you see genuine collaboration, genuine smile on their faces. And so it tells me that it looks like the world used to be a good place, right? Basically, people could.
So you can see here Foncha. This is the late John Go Foncha here. I'm trying to point
Correct.
my cursor on him for the younger generation, those who don't know him, to know this is John Go Foncha. And right at his end, this is Solomon
Governor.
Tandem Muna.
Muna,
Yeah.
And
the left, yes.
this was in 1995. And they had just returned from New York at the United Nations, where they came to complain that the people of the Southern Cameroons are very frustrated that they didn't give us the third option, so that when we get our independence, we don't join. And so we found ourselves in some kind of experiment of independence by joining. And then they were handed this flag to come and present to the people of the Southern Cameroons and tell them that it is time to take back their independence. I think that was a symbolic move from the United Nations. What do you think about that? What is your comment on this, Sisiko?
I don't know whether that was a provocation or what. I don't know. This flood event, as I said earlier, gave some of us a lot of hope. But I did not know that how many years down the road we are still here. Because the two architects, Muna and Foncha, had gone and said, look, this thing is not working. Let us go. Who would have thought that they would not take their word seriously? And we are still where we are today. Sad. Very sad.
You see, the
Yes,
world we live in, right? The
yes,
world
Comrade
we live
Alem.
in, The world we live in is, I think that we're learning very fast, right? Let's not be too hard on ourselves. The world we live in is a complex society, right? There's so many strings. It's like a spider web, right? When you pull something here, it triggers a reaction here, that pulls something here, that does something there. Um, One of the things that I have learned, or I won't say appreciate, that might not be the right word for this phrase, about a country like North Korea. You see, a couple of years ago, that country, nobody cared what they did, right? Nobody really, just another country back there, in Asia, and nobody. The minute that they started to get nuclear weapons and nuclear arsenals, they became somebody, right? Now they command respect, okay? A couple of years ago, those of us growing up today in our age of 40s and 50s, that China was just China. They were just, they were
We've
making
lost
laws
your
for sure.
voice. We've
Oh,
lost
can
our
you hear
audio.
me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Yep. So I was going back to the countries like, respect, in terms of respect. China was a few years ago just China. They were doing, selling rice and whatever it is. Today, China is gone. If something happens in China which is not correct, or something happens with their economy, the whole world feels the pinch because it happened in China. Why am I saying this? Because in lieu of what Sister Kuya said, right? You look at that flag, and you were thinking and you had all the hopes that something will happen, and of course, here we find ourselves today, nothing much has happened. We need to put ourselves in a position where we matter to the world. And when I say that, I mean that we need to put ourselves where we have value to the world, right? When we get to that point, then we shall be in a better position where they will not be giving us flags anymore. They'll be giving us precise decisions. And I leave it like that.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time for being on this program. We have 3 minutes to go. Comrade Alem, I come back to you first. Can you show us the Umojami app? How does it look like? Someone is going to the app store to look for Umojami. How will it look like?
So
So
when
briefly.
they go, yes, so when they go to the web, I'm using my right now on the computer, so I'm showing you the full blown program. But when you go to the App Store and you just search for Umojami and you download it, it's going to be more or less a watered down version of what you're seeing right now on your screen. Okay, so that's going to be able to you're going to be able to go in and have go to the main page where you can communicate with those who are already registered on the platform. You can update as well. You can also be able to communicate. Again, it could be like an advanced version of Facebook. You can be able to communicate. You can be able to post. You can be able to be creative and talk about what it is that you're doing, what's unique to yourself. You see, right now, these are all people who are already on that particular platform. Discussing, some people are coming on there and discussing about Cameroon, about Amazonia. That's also picking up steam, as you can see on the platform. So a lot of things that are there for you to be able to be interactive with. Also, we have free television. Okay, that's very very useful, especially for those who are at home. Be able to stream stream movies for free off of the platform as well. So there's so many things that you can do on there. So I really would suggest that you get on to download the app either on the Play Store, or if you're an Android user, you go to the Google Play Store and be able to download the app. Those of you that are using computers, though,
Sure.
probably
I
should be.
guess. Yeah, I guess we'll definitely have the opportunity to, have another in-depth look at Umojami.
There's a
Uh,
lot. Yes,
yes,
there's a lot on there.
Comrade Alem, your final word on this program. What message do you have for the people of the Southern Cameroons on this day, given the kind of information we are getting from the ground, especially to those who are still standing on the fence?
Let me say this, and when you look at the history of revolutions, I understand that it took less than 10% of the people of that nation or those nations to turn things around. Now, the one thing that makes our revolution unique is that we have technology with us, we have history on our side, we have geography on our side, and as of now, we have the international community. to some extent on our side. As slow as they're moving, trust me, we have them on our side. The reasons why they haven't done what they're supposed to do, and for some people it's a curse, for others it's a blessing. I think for me personally, it's giving us time to mature. So I choose to look at it as a way for us to grow, right? To fix what we have to fix in the house before we get our freedom. Others may look at it differently, that's fine. We may differ on those views. Southern Cameroonians, like I said a few days ago, what happened with all these killings, especially the latest one? A lot of people saw the bloodshed and the killings and felt emotional. And trust me, I do feel the same way too. But inside that haystack, there's a golden needle. And that needle that we saw was the coming together of our people on the ground, regardless of whether they belong to Team A or Team B or Team C, Group A or Group B or Group C. I think that is the core message that we need to drive home. The second thing is that the people on ground zero, the people back at home, did this without any without any interaction from the folks at the diaspora. And why am I stressing on this? Because we are in this, some of us or some people are in this illusion that this revolution or this fight for freedom is led by the people in the diaspora. And as long as you keep on having that illusion, you keep on having the derailment of the struggle. The one time that the people wake up, as they did, as Buba said, when the people shall rise, yesterday was a clear image of that. And they went a step further to be able to disarm somebody, regardless of the person's strength with the bullets, and you all know what happened. So again, my word is the diaspora needs to take its back seat. The diaspora needs to support how and where they see fit. But the leading, the struggle has to be led by the people on the ground. You are the ones who are feeling the pinch. You are the ones who are having bullets rain on your rooftops. The folks in the diaspora are having rain on their rooftops. So unless you change this analogy of the cart before the horse, you, the people in Southern Cameroon, we're all Southern Cameroonians, yes, but let me borrow the phrase from Animal Pig. Some people are more Southern Cameroonians than others, and by this I mean those people back on ground zero. They are more Southern Cameroonians than those of us in diaspora, and I say that with no blinking of my eyes. So let's not pretend. Those are the folks who should lead the revolution. You see what happened in the space of 1 or 2 days, okay? No shots fired after the killing, and they were able to overcome the military. The militaries can only be in so many places at the same time. So
Thank you
my
very
last,
much, Comrade
yeah,
Alem.
that's my
I
last word.
know,
Yes.
I know that when you start talking about, role play in this struggle and the need for us to push some kind of sanity, one can get very emotional. Siseko, Samir, you heard him talk about the diaspora, taking its backseat. At your age, you will not say that, your future is ahead. You say your future is behind you. Why are you so much involved in this fight? And what is the key message that you want to pass to the younger generation of Southern Cameroonians who have to, do the entire weightlifting to ensure that we get this freedom?
John, I have children. I have children. If I'm doing or saying anything, it's on their behalf. I have children who talk of home every day. If I sit complacent, they'll be lost. So I still have to be here and tell them that message, that home is possible and is livable. We shouldn't lose hope. The day will come. We will see home. If I sit complacent, they'll be lost. No, I'll still be here, John. I'll still be talking until the last moment.
Thank you very much for that determination. Of course, we had the opportunity to watch Molanjo Litumbe talk right up to the last moment, right up to the
Yes.
time where he gave up. His very last breath. he was talking, breathing, eating, and sleeping Southern Cameroon. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time, for taking time off your very busy schedule to be with me on this program. And I like to say this to the people of the Southern Cameroons. I know emotions are very high. I know that at this point in time, there is also some degree of confusion in the minds of the people as to what direction to take. But the message at this point in time, the message today, which is day number 16 in the month of October 2021, is clear. Is that for the people of La République du Cameroun, we are not humans. For the people of La République du Cameroun, we are game. Okele Bilai said it, and he was really, determined about it. We are listening more and more to a lot of citizens of La République du Cameroun, rising up to say that they are so disenchanted that their son, an Ekang Beti Bulu, who was simply doing sports and hunting game, that he was able to bring down an animal, and and the people got so, and the animals got so mad at him. Reason, they have not only gone out to threaten, they moved from threats to action, as we have heard in Ebolova. As the people of the Southern Cameroons, I say this and I repeat, we have to synergize. We have to work together. We have to bond together to overcome the challenge that is before us. Otherwise, we'll all die together like fools. My people, remember I said before that anytime you settle for less than you deserve, you end up with far less than you settled for. It is time for us, my people of the Southern Cameroons, to do what has to be done. Those of us who are still spread all over the territory of La République du Cameroun, in their suburbs, begin to move from those places, because Chief John Gute wasn't joking when he said they were going to turn against us. They have started, as you have heard, in Ebolova. It is time for us to together, reason together, work together, contact each other, exchange ideas, and determine to find our way out of slavery and servitude with La République du Cameroun. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next Saturday again, for yet another edition of The Soul of the Southern Cameroons. Have a good time.
Obrigado,